106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
Hi, this is DH Dunn, and I'd like to talk about cars. We're all very familiar with them. They can provide shelter from the elements, from a blizzard. They can, on occasion, if you're very careful, give you a place to get rid of cabin fever. It's somewhere we can run to when there's a wolf or something chasing us. They're actually, pretty good in hunting bears from. That's not what I want to talk about. While this is a top 5 list of cars, it is not top 5 most strategically placed cars in the game or top 5 cars that have the highest tactical value, but rather cars as a storytelling engine. One of the things that the Long Dark, I think, is best at is creating stories. And as a writer, I am always interested in ways to generate story. The cars in the Long Dark make so many stories for me. And so I wanted to give you 5 cars in the Long Dark that generated great stories for me. And then I'd love to hear stories from you. So first off, I just want to talk about cars in general, because for one thing, they have a lot of little fiddly bits to them. Not this one. The hood is broken on this one, but you can always open the gas cap. It's a long time before I knew you could open the gas cap. I have no idea why we can do this. Trunks, sometimes you need a pry bar to open them. Sometimes you don't. Front seat. Now, for years and years and years, these little flappies had nothing. I would flip them all the time, never find anything. They did finally add some value to those, but they were also a good way. Some people use them to identify cars that they've already searched. This, of course, the glove box. One of the things that's very interesting to me about the cars in the Long Dark, they all have these old style radios with the push buttons, which is the technology in the Long Dark is so interesting to me because it bounces between past and future. Kind of like Batman the Animated Series had this weird, the cars were from the 40s, but they had computers vibe going on it. Like there's an electric vehicle charging station in Quonset. So these should be modern cars, and yet they all it's like old style push button radios that I remember. They're all standard transmission. They all have a clutch. That's just interesting to me. I think cars in general are pretty cool. But let's talk about the 5 cars that I have interesting memories from. So I'm just coming in here with a little additional footage that I filmed later because we made a discovery about cars. We checked this on Twitch. I went and looked at some of the clips. During this video, you'll see me refer to the green car, the blue car, the red car. They're not consistent. They seem to be colored on game start and somewhat randomly. Right now we've got purple and blue. I'll load back in here and we'll see. We should have different colors. We've kind of explored the theory that maybe colors are lined up to loot tables. Further study may be required, but right now I think they're just random. But let's give it another check. All right, here we are on our second run through here in the middle of Mountain Town. Now you see we have, I guess, like a gray and another gray. All right, gray and another gray. All right, coming in with a third attempt here, we have purple and red. Number 4, blue and purple. And number 5, we have blue and blue. So, I don't know. I feel like it's random. Somebody like a Basho over an Archimedes or something maybe could do a deep dive on this. Who knows? Maybe I'll decide to do one. I don't think they're linked to anything. I think they're just randomly set. This is obviously not a full sample size, so in this video, when you see me talk about the green car, the blue car, the red car, understand that I later have figured out what a lot of you probably already knew, which is that the cars are not always the same color. That's it. Now on to the list. Number 5, Matt's truck. I think we all probably are somewhat familiar with Matt's truck. Here it is, crashed. Did Matt crash off? There's kind of a suggestion that he did. He went over the guardrail here probably, and then ended up here. Poor Matt. We don't know what happened to him. But Matt's got this nice blue pickup truck here. You can't open the hood, I don't think. Here's Matt, presumably. He was thrown clear despite the fact None of the windows are broken. So maybe he climbed out, got his favorite pry bar, and then collapsed. Matt's truck on the inside already has some snow in it, which I find interesting. And yeah, well, I'm looting it for no particular reason. So my story with Matt's truck has to do with a bear. So one of the better Loper runs I ever had ended right here because I shot a bear. I shot the DP bear, and I shot him over around this area, over here somewhere, and I wanted him next to Matt's truck because I wanted him to die very close to the truck so that I could use the truck to keep warm while I, like, you know, cooked him or harvested him or whatever. Back then I didn't quarter very often. I used to just cook in place. I quarter much more often now. So I have the bow, and I'm using Matt's truck, and I'm popping him, and then he'll start walking away a bit, so I pop him again. And he was a hardy bear. He took several arrow shots, and I could have just waited him out, but I wanted him really close, so I kept going into the truck, letting him get a certain distance, jumping out, having him charge back at me, and then I started having fun with it. How close can I let him get to me before I can get back into the truck? And one time, I pushed it too far. And that was the end of my run. So, my run basically ended based on that. And it's always been a fun memory for me. Every time I come back to this truck, I think of that bear and that bear fight, and how there was a lesson I probably should have learned. Don't poke the bear. That I necessarily did not learn. So that's number 5, Matt's truck. Alright, number 4 is this specific car in Coastal Highway, which is on the way to Quonset. It's right after the road break here. If you're coming in from Ravine and from Mystery Lake, a lot of times you'll come down, you'll stop at that trailer that you can just vaguely see through there, and then you'll end up here. This is more of a Voyager memory, but I have for a long time called this the Mayor of Coastal Highways car. And that's because this car always had a ton of great stuff for me. Even on Loper, it often has great stuff. And so I don't have a specific memory, but many runs of mine. And yeah, I used to have Voyager runs that would be in major trouble, and this car often would give me something great. Unfortunately, I can't get in the trunk. Would often give me something great to keep me going, and it just always seemed to have an unusually high amount of loot, even on Loper. That changed last year after one of the updates. Suddenly, it didn't seem to have as much great stuff anymore, and so now it's more of a landmark and more of a memory than it is an actual resource. But it's the Mayor of Coastal Highways car, and I still always make a point to stop at it. Number 3 for me is the purple car by the farmstead. For one thing, I just love how many purple cars there are. Is purple an unusually popular color in Canada? I don't see a lot of purple cars. But I have 2 different reasons that I love this car. Okay, the first one, as we'll get in. The first one is, this is a fantastic bear hunting car. I think one of the best. Right now he's bugged, so we don't see him right now. I'm hoping they're going to fix him, but the PV barn bear goes right by this thing. And I think the very first bear kill I ever got with a bow was from this car. And I would just pop in and take a shot, and then you just stay in here and you wait for him to bleed a bit, and you let him walk away a bit, and then you shoot him again. And this is how I generally hunt bears all the time now. It is also a little foreshadowing for some of the other cars and vehicles we'll talk about. It's a pretty easy car to get on top of, and I love getting on top of cars. I just find it very funny. The second reason I have memories of this car is specifically this back part, because up until KirkSteven found a hacksaw that you could only get by going in the back seat. I don't even think you could see it from the front seat. Maybe you could see it, but you could not pick it up. I never would go in the back seat of cars, and it was this specific car that KirkSteven. So it's more of a KirkSteven memory, but because of that, I now check the back, at least visually, always, whereas I didn't used to. Like the floorboard. I mean, you check the seat. With the floorboard, and there's stuff here that you can't even pick up unless you get in the back. And I find that interesting. It's a great car and a great location. There's generally wolves around here as well, so it can be a good one to run to. Probably decent for getting rid of cabin fever, but if you trust the fire to keep going. But there's a lot of good caves in PV for that. But that's the PV car, the purple car in front of the farmhouse, number 3. All right, number 2 on my list is the Milton green car. And I call this the Milton police car. And you'll see why in a minute. It's a pretty nondescript car. Otherwise, you can't open the hood. It's got the usual car accoutrements. I'm on Pilgrim, by the way, so that's why But for one thing, it is just about the easiest car in the game to get on top of. This is actually the car that taught me you could get on top of cars. And it was also the car that taught me that you could do this. You can light fires on top of cars. And you can also light fires on the hoods of cars. I knew you could put them in the beds of pickup trucks and then sleep in the pickup truck. And it actually works as a windbreak, I believe. That fire will keep going even in the wind. But putting them on top of cars to me is just damn funny. And that's why this is the police car, because it's got a little police light on top of it. And if you go inside, you're nice and warm. It's all super great. It's very funny to me, and it led to a long career of building fires in dumb, weird places, which I really, really like to do. That's it. That's all this car has going for it, but it taught me one of my more fun activities, which is just climbing on top of shit. It's just really funny for me. And that is the Milton police car, number 2. All right, before we get to number 1, a couple honorable mentions. Number 1 in my honorable mentions is the truck in the barn in Pleasant Valley. I think I have slept in this truck more than any other vehicle in the game. And it sometimes has a stem in it too, which is also very cool. But yeah, truck in the barn in PV. Okay, also very worthy of honorable mention is these big yellow dump trucks in the zone of contamination. I love them because as a kid, I loved big giant trucks. And this is a big giant truck, and you get to go in it, and you can't do a damn thing, and there's never anything good in them. This is Pilgrim, so there's a soda here, but it doesn't matter. The truck is super cool, and I love these big giant trucks. If I can find a way to get in there, I will. But love these big, huge trucks in ZOC. Definite honorable mention. They're so cool. They look like Mega Weapon. They're awesome. All right, another honorable mention and a bit of a rule break for me, but is this helicopter in Forsaken Airfield. First off, I just think it's incredibly cool looking, and it's so well hidden. I think it took me longer to spawn and reach this location than the entire video is. But the real reason I love the helicopter is because guess what you can do with it? You can get on it, and if you work really hard, which I'm not going to do for this video, but I'm going to show you a clip, you can get up on the rotors, or you can get up to the rotors. You can climb up to this engine piece here, get on the rotors, and do something fun.
Yes, okay. Now. Oh, you can put them on the rotors! Oh, I have so many plans. I am so excited for the possibilities that this presents. There's so many fun things that you could do here with this.
All right, so that's the last honorable mention. Let's get to my favorite car memory in the long dark. And the number 1 car-related memory that I have in the long dark is this car right here. So to me, this car is the blood car. It's another car that's very easy to get on top of. And I have a very specific memory with this car. I wanted to try to kill a moose from here. I wasn't able to get it because I wanted to see if a moose could reach me up here. But I ended up killing it before it could get to me. But a wolf did get to me up here. And I killed the wolf. We'd had a wolf struggle right here on the roof. And what the game did with the blood from the wolf struggle fascinated me.
Wow, the car really is bloody. Look at that. Oh my god. It's on the windshield too. Let's see it from the inside. The blood somehow got in the car. Like, look at this. From the roof. Oh, that's all. That's a new one. Well, I'll have to get this upholstery cleaned. That's not going to be cheap.
And there you have it. There are my top 5 cars in the Long Dark and the stories that went with them. Again, this is just for fun, and I think this game's ability to generate stories from something as basic as a car is pretty freaking remarkable. I love this game, and if you're watching this video, then I bet you love it too. Tell me what your favorite memories are related to cars or other vehicles in the Long Dark. I'd love to hear them. I do upload new Long Dark content every day, so if you enjoyed this video and you want to give it a like, a comment, subscribe, those all really help me. I'll be back tomorrow with more adventures in the Long Dark. Until then, stay safe, take care of each other, take care of your car, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.